And the political leader of the main opposition, UWP, says the statement by the Prime Minister on the economy has left more questions than answers. According to Alan Chastanet, St. Lucia is staring bankruptcy in the face. Quoting the Social and Economic Review of 2014, Alan Chastanet said in 2010-2011, the government of St. Lucia had interest payments of $102 million. In 2014-2015, that increased to $144 million.
And when we look at the budget for this year, the estimates for this year, is that number is going to go to $165 million. It's a $65 million increase, almost a 65% increase in interest payments. But here is where that number becomes even more worrisome. When we go to Appendix 34, and we look at how that debt is broken out, we saw that in 2011, the government had treasury bills of $42 million, okay? And they had bonds outstanding of $341 million. And you remember the interest payment was $100 million. And in 2011, in the sink fund, we had over $200 million in the sink fund. In 2014, that number of bonds went from $42 million to $303 million. Now here's the worrisome thing. Treasury bills generally are financial instruments that are repaid back, whether it's in 3 months, 6 months, or 1 year, but certainly not much more than 1 year, whereas bonds tend to be 3 years and plus. So when that amount of money is being borrowed that is short-term money, it is putting the country in a precarious situation. The other thing that's incredible is that in 2011, that they were paying about 4% or 4.5% interest. And my understanding is the most recent treasury bill was 5.8 or even 6%. So it means that even the cost of short-term lending has gone up. The fact is that the government has not been able to issue any bonds because nobody wants to buy the debt on a long-term basis. And this is a very worrisome number that we should all be very concerned about here. Now, what is making matters even worse, as I indicated to you, in 2011, the government had $200 million plus that was in a sink fund. It is my understanding that that sink fund now is less than $50 million. So we are in a very precarious situation financially.
Alan Chastanet sees this as a clear indication that the government is financially strapped.
This is further evidence by the fact that the government of St. Lucia would try to impose an increase on the learner's permit, that the increase on the driver's license fees, the 20% increase on the service charge at the port of entry. These are all nuisance taxes that have a negative impact on our economy. And for this government to continue to go down that road should tell all of us the story that this government has run out of money. The same way that they've run out of ideas, we are now, I believe, on the verge of a bankruptcy in this country. And the Prime Minister has not in any way in this document been able to show me, or I'm sure anybody else who's watching the economy and the numbers, that that's anything different. So the Prime Minister is also stating that he wants new projects. And he makes mentions of a government building in the south, and he's also talking about the highway. I put it to the Prime Minister. How could he even be considering those things given what it appears to be a financial collapse? You're going to go and build a new building in the south when you can't even fill the financial center. You can't even complete the financial center here. You cannot complete St. Jude's Hospital. You cannot complete the new National Hospital. And you're going to build a building that's going to generate what kind of economic growth? You want to go and spend $150 million on a highway which even the basic person fails to understand how that is going to improve the state of the economy. Now, if in fact the Prime Minister believes that his numbers are correct, then he should have no difficulty at this particular time of increasing the $3 million for the subsidy on the school feeding program and on the school transportation program.
Stay with the CTV News. We're coming on back after the break.